Welcome to Overtime Sessions. So have any of you ever played a pickup hockey game, whether it was as a child or as an adult, and someone may have given you a cheap shot? You might want to retaliate, and maybe depending on the severity of the cheap shot, you might want to swing your stick at the person. You wouldn't do it, you would just think about it because that is insane. Who in their right mind would swing their stick at someone? Well, that actually happened. See, on this channel, I like to look up bizarre stories that have happened in professional sports, and this story came to my attention. But this story isn't just about this incident. It goes a little deeper, and this player shows glimpses of brilliance, controversy, and heartbreak, leaving an indelible mark on the sport's history. This is the story of Wayne Maki. Wayne Maki was born on November 10, 1944, in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Maki grew up in a family deeply rooted in hockey. His older brother, Ron Chico Maki, became a longtime Chicago Blackhawks forward, setting the stage for Wayne's own aspirations. Before joining the NHL, Maki honed his skills in junior leagues, including the St. Catharines Blackhawks of the Ontario Hockey Association and the St. Louis Braves of the Central Professional Hockey League. His performance with the Braves' 25 goals and 26 assists in the 1965-66 season caught the attention of the Chicago Blackhawks, who promoted him to the NHL for the 67-68 season. In Chicago, Maki split time between the Blackhawks and their minor league affiliate, the Dallas Blackhawks. Despite limited NHL ice time, 49 games over 2 seasons, his physical play and scoring potential signal a player poised for a breakout. Maki's career, however, did take a dark turn. On September 21, 1969, during a preseason exhibition game between the Boston Bruins and St. Louis Blues at the Ottawa Civic Center, what transpired during that evening would forever change these two players' lives and lead to unprecedented legal consequences for on-ice violence. At approximately 13 minutes 6 seconds of the first period, Bruins defenseman terrible Ted Green and Blues forward Wayne Maki became entangled in what started as a routine hockey altercation. The confrontation began when Maki dumped the puck deep into the Bruins zone. Green went to retrieve it, and Maki delivered a hard check from behind, sending Green into the boards. Green, known for his aggressive style of play, took exception to the hit and shoved Maki to the ice. Referee Ken Boldenstyle immediately raised his hand to call a penalty on Green. While down on his knees, an angered Maki reportedly speared Green in his groin area. The situation escalated rapidly when Green swung his stick like a baseball bat, striking Maki on the arm and knocking him to the ice again. As Green turned away, presumably to head to the penalty box, Maki got back to his feet and retaliated with a devastating blow. Maki swung his stick with full force, with the heel of the blade striking Green on the right side of his head. Broadcasting legend Dan Kelly, who was calling the game, described it as one of the most horrifying, most violent exchanges I've ever seen in hockey. The impact was immediately evident. Green fell to the ice, and when he attempted to stand again, his face was contorted, and his legs began to buckle beneath him. His teammate Bobby Orr immediately leaped off the bench in rage and attempted to get at Maki as other Bruins players tried to carry Green to the dressing room. Green was rushed to Ottawa General Hospital with a depressed skull fracture, requiring emergency surgery. Even as he was being prepared for surgery, Green reportedly kept saying, "This is Maki's first and last year in the league." So just some thoughts about this after reading this. I don't know how Green survived. I'd be dead. Because you got to remember that this time, players were not wearing helmets. So this was just right at the skull, right at the... he had a fractured skull. He even tried to stand up. I wouldn't even think about standing up at all. And then as he's getting ready for prep for surgery, he's just like, yeah, this is Maki's last year for sure. I don't even know how to even think about saying all this. I'd just be out cold. I don't know how he continued to speak and was even trying to get up. And now he's in surgery. The surgery lasted 3 hours and involved inserting a steel plate in Green's fractured skull. He suffered brain damage from the incident and was forced to miss the remainder of the 1969-70 season, including the playoffs run that the Bruins had that accumulated a Stanley Cup championship. Incredibly, despite the gravity of Green's injury, that game continued after he was taken off the ice. The crowd, which had been supporting the Blues during their preseason camp in Ottawa, booed Orr when he returned to the ice after attempting to attack Maki. Yeah, that was a little shocking for to hear that they continued playing. Just the only reason why I was a little shocked they continued playing was because it was a preseason game. It didn't really, but there was no regular season impact to it. But it just showed that they just wanted to play no matter what happened. So I was pretty shocked that they continued to play, and they were still into it. They were at booing or for going after Maki. That was pretty funny to see that, but. Whew. Okay, and as for legal and league consequences, the incident marked the first time NHL players faced criminal charges for on-ice violence. Both Maki and Green were charged with assault by Ottawa police. In the ensuing trials, both players were ultimately acquitted. The NHL also took disciplinary action, suspending Maki for 30 days and Green for 13 games. Both players were fined $100 for their match penalties and an additional $200 for stick swinging. For the players faced, Ted Green eventually recovered and returned to play the following season. He spent 2 more years with the Bruins before jumping to the rival World Hockey Association in 1972. He later became a coach, including a stint as head coach of the Edmonton Oilers from 1991 to 1994. And as for Maki, his career took a turn. After the Blues exposed him in the 1970 NHL expansion draft, the Vancouver Canucks claimed Maki, where he flourished as a key scorer. In his first full season, in 1970-71, he tallied 25 goals and 38 assists, becoming one of the franchise's early stars. Teammates and fans admire his tenacity. His brother Chico later recalled, "He wasn't afraid. He'd take on the big guys. He fought them." Maki's 1971-72 season saw another strong performance, 22 goals, 25 assists, but his career was abruptly halted in December 1972, when he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Surgery removed 3/4 of his brain, but the cancer proved terminal. He died on May 12, 1974, at 29, just 17 months after his diagnosis. Maki's personal life remains less documented, but anecdotes from his brother Chico paint a picture of a fiercely determined individual. The two shared a close bond, with Chico recalling their childhood battles on the ice. "We would beat the crap out of each other and have a lot of fun doing it." Even during his illness, Maki remained defiant, insisting he would return to hockey despite his deteriorating health. His death from brain cancer at 29 added a tragic layer to his story. Over 6 NHL seasons, Maki recorded 57 goals and 79 assists in 246 regular season games. Though his career was cut short, his impact on the Canucks' early years earned him a place among the franchise's 101 greatest Canucks in 2014. So on this channel, I do like to see players' projections of what if this player did this or that, if he was on a certain team or he was drafted earlier. So in this scenario, I would like to see how his career would have projected had he not been diagnosed with this brain tumor. In his 2 full Canucks seasons, Maki averaged 23.5 goals and 31.5 assists per year. At 27 years old in 1972-73, he was on pace for similar numbers before his diagnosis. Without cancer, he likely would have maintained the 20 to 25 goals and 30 to 40 assists annually through his prime, ages 27 to 32. As part of the Canucks' inaugural core, Maki could have become the franchise's first 300-point player. His 63-point 1970-71 already ranked him 3rd in team scoring, and sustained production might have earned him captaincy after Orlin Kuchenbrock's 1974 retirement. By 1974, Maki had 136 NHL points in 246 games, a career extending into the early 1980s, similar to his brother Chico, who retired at 35, could have seen him reach 500-plus games and 300-plus points, placing him among Canucks legends like Stan Smyl. He was known for his physicality and scoring touch. Maki might have evolved into a prototype power forward, blending aggression. He had 184 penalty minutes in 246 games, with offensive output a valuable asset in the rough 1970s NHL. The NHL's average goals per game peaked at 3.5 in 1974-75. Maki's skill set, strong shot, and playmaking positioned him to thrive in this environment, potentially matching contemporaries like Dennis Hull, who was scoring 30 goals annually. The Canucks' 1974 Cinderella playoff run, without Maki, suggests his presence might have accelerated the team's competitiveness, possibly leading to deeper postseason performances. However, this did have injury risks. His physical style increased injury respectability, though no major pre-cancer injuries were documented. So had Maki not been diagnosed with brain cancer, his hypothetical career would have been 700 games played, 250 goals, 350 assists, 600 points, which is comparable to Dave Keon, who had 1,200 plus games. Without cancer, Maki's combination of grit and scoring would have likely earned him multiple All-Star appearances, similar to linemate Orlin Kuchenbach's, and he could have most likely had his number retired. And also, if he sustained elite production into the 1980s, he could have been considered for the Hall of Fame. His tragic death in 1974 remains a what-if in hockey history, but the trajectory of his abbreviated career suggests a path toward lasting NHL prominence. Wayne Maki's story is one of unfulfilled potential and enduring legacy. His on-ice ferocity and off-screen resilience left an imprint on hockey, while his tragic demise underscored the sport's physical dangers. Though overshadowed by one violent moment, his contributions to the game and in lessons learned from his experiences continue to resonate. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, hit that like button. If you want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next time in Overtime.